Hello, beautiful people. Welcome. If this is your first time here, welcome back. If you are a returning supporter, I'm here to give you the disclaimers for this here live. Listen, I do not tolerate disrespect. That's in any way, shape, form, or fashion, whether it's towards me, towards anyone that appears on the screen, towards anyone that appears in the chat. If you have not decided to be a better person, most people will tell you to leave, but I'm going to tell you to stick around because maybe something that is said today will encourage you to do so. Now, I am not a mental health professional. I am just one woman willing to share my personal experiences to let you know two things. One, you are not alone, regardless of how much you feel like you are alone, how many times you have felt that, you are not alone. And number two, you can overcome anything that life throws at you. There will be curse words, there will possibly be tears, but knowing me, it probably will be. And my opinions are my opinions, your opinions are your opinions. We are here to have a nurturing conversations in regards to our opinions so that we will have a better understanding of each other. That's all I got for right now. I hope that you enjoy this nurturing conversation. Let's get to it. Wait. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button that helps me say suggested on YouTube. Make sure that you type in the chat, also leave a comment, and share it with your friends. That's all I got. Let's get into this conversation. I love you. Peace.
I probably should unmute my microphone. Hello, beautiful people. I hope that you are having a wonderfully amazing day. My Sunday has been great. I am here to share with you all about the importance of embracing the journey. I'm here to share. This is my 4th year of a journey of healing and self-discovery. And I was recently on vacation in Arizona. And I gotta get his disclaimer again. If there will be tears, I am definitely going to cry somewhere in this entire podcast. This is not your typical podcast. This is like a nurturing conversation. It's just here. We're here to have a real life conversation about real life things. Anywho, so I was in Arizona, and I this journey, when I started this journey in 2020, I wanted to be I wanted to be whole. I wanted to be so whole. I wanted to be nothing but light, love, and positivity, right? So I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna start this journey. I started working out. I started eating better. I started juicing. What else? I started doing like meditations. I started doing all things to change my like totally change my life. I was tired of walking around with the baggage from my childhood, my young adulthood, my teenage, my 30s. I didn't want to carry any of that anymore into my 40s. So this is why I went on this journey. Um, I went through so many different spaces. I went through so many different spaces. Tonight's topic is embracing the journey. I went through so many different spaces. Like I literally was transported. Now, let me say this, right? When I thought about the journey of healing and self-discovery, I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna cry a little bit. I'm gonna apologize. I'm gonna forgive. I'm gonna work out. I'm gonna eat right. I'm a I'm a talk positive. I'm gonna manifest. I'm gonna do all like I had. That was what I thought like was going to happen, right? Total opposite. I mean, those things did happen. Now, let me not say that those things did happen. I was not prepared. I was not prepared to be balled up in the fetal position in the bottom of my shower crying. I'm not even going to say crying. I'm going to say wailing. If you ever wailed, like if you ever just had a overwhelming like cry, like ugly cry. I ugly cried so many times. And it was weird for me because I caught myself shutting off my emotions like, "Ugh, you are not going to get a reaction out of me." I when I was growing up, they always used to say, "Don't let them see you sweat," and I would never cry in front of people. I would just be like, "I'm cool." I cry so much in these last 4 years, and it wasn't like disappointing cries. It was just like, "Oh my god," realization cries, cries of like, "Oh my god, that's why I do that." So, I like started to acknowledge different things that I like when I realized that I was a people pleaser. Yeah, I was so shocked. Like I was real life shocked. Like me, a people pleaser? Yeah, right. I and then I started to literally like life was literally like, no, 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 you are a people pleaser. And here's why you're a people pleaser. So basically what I did was I uprooted everything that I had learned, everything that I had been taught. I unlearned to relearn. I unlearned to relearn. So I went through every step of my life. I went through every step. And I was crying so hard and it was like the younger me came back and was like, "Hey," it tapped me on the shoulder and was like, "Hey, we walking with you on this journey. You've already overcome everything that you are experiencing right now. We are just processing it so that you can let it go." And I tell y'all, I cried. Like I was transported to exact moments. I smelled smells. I saw, I felt like I wasn't there, but I felt like I was there. Like you ever have a moment where you were like in complete and utter like like you were terrified and like you overcome that situation and then you like had to go back. Like I felt every emotion and I cried. And my younger self just like hugged me. And I was just like, it's like, no, we need you to open your eyes and see, open your eyes and understand. And so I'm watching. I realized that I felt abandoned by my parents. My mom, I grew up with my mom. My mom raised me, but I still felt abandoned. Like I had this sense of entitlement. I could say that now at 44. I had a sense of entitlement because I'm the oldest and I'm the only girl. So of course I feel entitled. I mean, I'm the oldest and I'm the only girl. So I thought my life was going to go a certain way. And when it didn't go that way, I just felt like my parents abandoned me. Like they didn't love me. Like I felt that I was not important to them. And so thus began my journey of people pleasing. And so life just started to point out different things to me, and how me feeling abandoned by my parent opened the doors for people to come in and take advantage of me, and for my life just to be different, for my life to be different. And when I say embracing the journey, I'm saying life may not be rainbows and sunshines. It might not be green grass all the time. I feel like I went through a lot of things in my life um to show me me. And I say that because I'm sitting here, I'm like, I'm not no people pleaser. I'm real life talking to I'm having a whole conversation with myself. I am not a people pleaser. I don't care what people think about me. At the same two things can be true at the same time. I did not care what people thought about me, but at the same time, I wanted to make sure that everybody that was around me was good. They were happy, they were smiling, like they were happy, like, I made them happy, and for me, it was like, that's not people pleasing, that's making sure, that's being a good stewardess, that's making sure that people are good, like, I'm being a good Samaritan, justifying all of it, when in actuality, I was just people pleasing. Then I started to realize about, like, when I think about the people that I dated, when I think about the things that I did, I was laughing earlier today. I was doing a puzzle, and I don't know, I got overwhelmed with nostalgia. And so I was thinking, I would be up all night playing video games. I would be up all night playing Mario Kart, just all night playing, knowing I had to go to school the next morning and I had to be outside at like 6, 5, 6, because I bust out to chapter 220. Um Integration. I bust out to chapter 220. So I was just up all night and I just thought like, man, I used to do some of the most craziest things when I was growing up. I now I did I don't think I ever skipped school because I liked going to school. Because when I tell y'all my school was lit. I went to Franklin High School. My school was lit. But I would do some of the most craziest things. Let me ask y'all this, right? Did y'all ever join a hotline? I remember being on a we didn't have any business being on a hotline, but we would be on a hotline talking to people. Do y'all remember MySpace or Black Planet? I remember, like, I was doing a puzzle this morning and I was like, oh my God, I've been protected my entire life because I was on a hotline meeting people off Black Planet. I'm telling you, I lived a really wild life. And as I was going back and I was thinking about situations that I put myself in, and then I like understood the root cause of why I put myself in certain situations, it was a no for me. I was crying. I was not crying. I was wailing. I was like, okay, I don't know what you're trying to teach me here, but I need to come back here because this was a really traumatic time for me in my life. But as I kept on walking, as I kept on like, okay, I'm safe. You got me. I'm gonna keep on walking. I began to realize like I'm gonna give y'all a perfect example. So when I was younger, I had my innocence stolen from me, right? And so you're young, so you're telling everybody because I'm telling everybody because I'm like, this ain't supposed to be happening, like they teach you about the birds and the bees and all of those different things. So I'm telling everybody, like, I'm gonna tell you when this is gonna stop, it's not gonna keep going. Well, when I told people, it wasn't like, okay, this is gonna stop. Like I got bombarded with questions as to why and who do you think you are and all these different things. So I just stopped talking. And when I stopped talking, I began to hate the sound of my voice. Like I literally hated the sound of my voice. And that didn't work for me because I love to sing, I love to write songs. Like I'm a music artist. So that wasn't going to work. You can't hate the sound of your voice and sing at the same time. You can't hate the sound of your voice because you have to sing the songs that you write. So I hated the sound of my voice and any just I struggled with doing YouTube, anything. I hated it because I hated the sound of my voice. And then as I'm journeying through life, I'm journeying through life. I'm going through different experiences. And these last 4 years, I went to vocal therapy. I had polyps on my vocal cords, and I had to go to vocal therapy. So I'm in vocal therapy, and I thought it was pretty dope because like I said, I went to college. I studied classical music. I sung arias. I done all kinds of things. I traveled, toured, all kinds of things, right? And so I'm in vocal lessons, and in my mind, I think when you think vocal lessons, right? You thinking they're going to show you how to sing, right? No, not in vocal lessons. I was learning how to blow bubbles through straws. I was learning how to actually utilize the muscles that's around. Like I learned all of the fundamentals of your actual voice. So I'm in not vocal lessons. I'm in vocal therapy. That's what it's sorry, y'all. It's vocal therapy. So I'm in vocal therapy and I'm blowing in straws and I'm learning how to fluctuate. I'm doing all of those things. And one day while I was in vocal therapy, I had a complete meltdown. I had a complete meltdown. I'm apologizing to my therapist because I'm like, I'm sorry. I don't know what is going on. But like that first tear popped out of my eye and I could not contain it because my mind, my body, everything connected as to why I hated the sound of my voice and why I stopped talking and why, like, it overwhelmed me. It overwhelmed me to the point like I was completely destroyed. I couldn't even continue on with the therapy session. And my therapist even started crying. And she's like, "Is everything okay?" And I'm like, I was trying to keep my composure. I couldn't, y'all. I just let it go. I said, "Oh my God." I stopped talking because it did. I stopped talking because when I was telling people what was going on with me, nobody believed me, nobody listened. And I said to myself, what is the point of talking when no one hears you? Sorry, y'all. What is the point of talking if no one hears you? And oh, I thought about all the times where I wanted to speak up and I just like, man, they ain't gonna listen to me anyways. Like, what's the point of talking? And I just couldn't pull it together. She was talking to me, y'all. I had no words. Those tears was just popping out of my eyes like it was so uncontrollable. And she's like, "What are you feeling in this moment?" And I said, "I feel complete sadness. I feel complete sadness. I feel disappointment. I feel heartache. I felt like I literally felt the day when I was 12 years old, and I'm like, I'm never speaking again. I'm not gonna talk. I literally stopped talking for 2 years, like, didn't say a word. A word I didn't say. People would be talking to me, and I would just look at them like they slow, but I was just, "What is the point of talking to you? You're not gonna listen to me anyways." So, I'm there, I have that moment, and I just thought that was the end. I thought, I got my tears out, I cried a little bit, and then she was like, you should go and see, um, Doctor Bach." I know it sounds fake. No, it's real. His name is Doctor Bach. So he's a doctor, and also he's a musician. I kid you not. He's a doctor and a musician, and he works out at Frederick Hospital here in Milwaukee. She's like, "I want you to go see him and get a second opinion on the polyp on your vocal cords." Because let me tell y'all something. So my ear, nose, and throat doctor was like, now I thought when they checked your throat, I thought they just went through your throat. No, he went up to my nose, down through my throat. So he was like, "Oh, we just cut that out and you'll be fine." I was like, "But I'm a I sing." I wasn't singing, but I'm like, "I'm a singer. I need my vocal cords to sing. I need this to talk. I need." He's like, "Oh no, well you'll be fine. There's usually no what did he say? He said there's something like, there's nothing bad could happen. Basically, I'm paraphrasing. Nothing bad could happen because we're just gonna go in, take off the vocal nodes, and then you're gonna be fine. And I was like, second opinion me. So I go and see Dr. Bach. But before I could see Dr. Bach, I had to see another vocal therapist. Now, I just told y'all I studied classical music. So I studied classical music. Um, Singing arias, opera is one of my favorite things. So I go and see this therapist, and she's a professional opera singer. I started crying again, crying, wailing again. This is my first time meeting this lady, and I am wailing. And she's like, "Are you okay?" And I was just like, "It's." When I tell you, like, I'm trying to find the words for it. It was just like, I don't even know what the word for, but it was like, "Oh my god, like, how is this possible? Like, how did I start vocal therapy and then realize why I could like, why I stopped speaking or why I don't I hated the sound of my voice, and here I am working on vocal exercises with an actual opera, a professional opera singer, and then the doctor that I'm going to see is Dr. Bach." It didn't make sense to me. So I'm crying and I'm telling her, I studied arias, I sung and I did all this. And she was like, you should check out this. And she's like referring me books and different things to read. And I was like, oh, this is so dope. So now I had a polyp on my vocal cord. So they set me in a appointment to go and get another nososcopy. I don't know what it's called, where they stick the thing up your nose. So I go and they're looking at me and they're like, "You don't have polyps on your vocal cords." And I was like, "No, I had polyps in my vocal cords. I saw them. I have a video of them. Actually, let me see. I have a video of the polyps on my vocal cords." He's like, "Well, we don't see any polyps on your vocal cords." He's like, "Do you have a photo or something of it?" I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna do you one better because I have an actual video." I didn't believe that they were actually there. Give me one moment, y'all. Oh, I'm almost there. Give me one moment. Imma show y'all. That's the after. Let's see, where's the before? Imma show y'all because I was shocked, like, "What?" Hold on, it's downloading. Nope, 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 nope. Oh, here we go. Uh-oh, wait a minute. Oh my god. What are we doing here? It's not that one, it's not is it this one? Oh, it is. Sorry, I should have said warning. Do y'all see that? That's on my vocal cords. That was on my vocal cords. Y'all see how big it is, right? It was big on my vocal cords. Kid you not. If I something told me to take a video because I would not have believed it if I didn't take a video. Now let me show y'all. That was let me see the date. That was August. Y'all see the date? August 15th, 2022. Now let me show y'all the after. Um, I took photos and videos because I could not believe it. Could not believe it. That was August. This is what they look like in November. Do y'all see that thing there? It wasn't there no more. When I showed them, I showed them the previous video that I just showed y'all, and they was like, "And you didn't have surgery?" I said, "No, I didn't have surgery. I just believed." I said to myself, it's nothing like being sick. It's nothing like losing your voice that makes you want to sing. Like you ever been sick and like, man, I really want to do some content today, or man, I really want to take photos, or I really want to. It was nothing like not having a voice. When I tell y'all they turned that screen around to me and I didn't see that, I cried. I said, if I would have had like my ear, nose, and throat doctor was like, oh, just go have the surgery. And I was like, now I know for sure I gotta start speaking. I gotta start talking. I gotta start speaking up for myself. I gotta start speaking and doing things. I got to. And I'm gonna tell y'all that was one of the hardest decisions that I had to make because that meant that I had to acknowledge the things that happened to me that I just threw in the back. You know, when stuff be happening to you, you growing up, you throw it in the back of your head like, oh, that don't. It didn't matter. It didn't bother me. It oh, that's water under the bridge, stuff like that, right? I hadn't had to real life acknowledge like when a situation happened to me when I was younger, I never would even say the person's name out of my mouth. I never would talk about them. I hated the smell of the cologne that they wore. I hated everything. Everything. I hated it. But in that moment, everything came back to me. And when I tell y'all I've been overwhelmed for these last 4 years, and I don't mean like in a negative way. I mean like I've been overwhelmed with like, man, I don't even know how I survived half of the shit that I experienced in my life. I don't know. I don't know how I did, but I'm so grateful that I'm here. So after that, I'm like, I'm going to start doing karaoke. I'm going to start doing karaoke to get back into singing. And I'm going to start this podcast. It was originally called Sunday Night Dinner and Convo. Wait, no, let me say that right. It has always been the Nurturing Conversations podcast, but I was afraid to put the podcast title on it because I wasn't there yet. I wasn't there yet. I said, I told myself that in these next 4 years, I didn't care what came to me. I was going to face it. Whatever it was, I was gonna face it head on. And when I tell y'all everything I could have imagined, everything I didn't want to imagine, everything came to me and I had to deal with it. Now I could have just kept throwing it in the back of my mind and not like acknowledging that it actually exists, but I said, I am about to be I'm going into my 40s. Well, yeah, I just turned 40. I don't want to carry this through my 40s. I carried it through my teens, 20s, 30s. I don't want to carry this no more. I started doing karaoke. I started doing Sunday night dinner at Convo. We having good conversations. People were showing up. And then situations happened with people that I considered family. Like all kinds of things happened. And it was like, do you speak? Do you not speak? What do you do? Like, how do you maintain your space, your peace, and I chose not to speak on a lot of things. And a lot of people had their feelings on me not speaking on a lot of things, but I just feel like, regardless of the situations that I go through in my life, I'm going to always walk in integrity and I'm going to always protect and love on the people that I say. When I say I love you, I will protect you and I will love you. I'm not gonna come here and act no fool for social media. I don't do none of that. If you've ever followed me on any one of my social medias, I do not do any of that. Now I did have to do that on this journey. I did have to call people to the carpet and be like, hey, listen, you poking, and I'm not even you poking. That's not even my lifestyle. I don't do all that rah-rah. I don't even do that. But I had to come and say, "Hey, you're poking and you probably don't want to poke me in this space in which I'm in because I listen. I'm not I've never been with disrespect. And if you were here at the beginning, I do not tolerate disrespect. I don't care who it is. Not at all do I tolerate it. So, and that's what I realized on the journey. I don't care who you are, mother, father, sister, pope, president. I don't care who you are. I do not tolerate disrespect. That's one thing of the many of things I don't tolerate. Disrespect is the number one thing I don't tolerate. And if I've been nothing but nice and sweet and kind and loving to you and you feel like it's okay for you to disrespect me so that other people you can boost your ratings or anything like that, I am not with that at all. Not at all. So, as I'm on this journey, started doing Sunday night dinner and convos. I started doing karaoke. I started my professional life. In my professional life, I am the greatest music administrator this side of heaven. I work with music artists to make sure that they understand the business of music and that they get a financial return on their musical investment. I work with music artists. So I began to stand up. Like, if you know the music industry, you know it's a male dominated industry. I was just on many occasions just happy to be invited into the room. So I'm observing what's happening in the room. And then I watched as people would be rude. People will be so rude to other human beings. Mind you, like, I'm on the journey of healing and self-discovery, but at the same time, we are experiencing a global pandemic. So people was just being rude. And I did not understand. Like, presently today, people are still, it's 10 days left in this year, and people are still being negative, being rude, like being being I was going to say the R word towards other people, but like, there's hatred. There we go. There's hate speech, and there's 10 days left in this year. I said to myself, 2020, I want to be nothing but light, love, positivity. Now, did I know what that meant? No, but I knew I wanted to be light, love, and positivity. It got to the point where if I woke up and I felt like any kind of way that wasn't positive, or I woke up and I was just like, ugh, it's another day. I literally rolled over, put the cover over my head, set my alarm, and tried it again. I want to be nothing but light, love, and positivity. I understood what it means when, if you don't have anything good to say about anybody, don't say anything at all. The reality of that hit me so hard. If like conversations, people be having conversations all the time. And when it's that little extra part, like, we don't know what people are enduring right now. Like, right now, today, we don't know what people are enduring. And instead of us like praying for them or offering a word of blessing or love or support, we would like add more to where they are. You know what I'm saying? Like, we will say different things, like, not intentionally meaning harm, but it is harmful. So for me, I was like, listen, if I don't have anything good at all, I'm not going to say anything. So whereas before I was voluntarily, like, I was just not talking, now it's just like, I get it. I don't want to add more to where you are. So I started doing the podcast. I started getting invited to speak on other people's podcasts. When I tell y'all, I did everything I've did in these last 4 years, deathly afraid. I was so afraid. I would literally be I would before I would go on before I would go on Sunday night dinner and convo, or before I would go on karaoke, I would be afraid. I would choose karaoke songs where I didn't have to do any, like, too much or nothing, just sing like basic. I would choose, like, when I would go on podcasts and people were inviting me to speak, I would speak, you know, I would share a little bit, and they were like, like, "Hey, come on, give us more." And I was not comfortable. I was not comfortable. I was afraid. And then I had to get real with myself, right? We know who we are. So at the end of my thing, when I say love yourself, know yourself, I know that I am called to speak. I know that I am called to help, motivate, inspire, encourage, uplift. I know that's what I'm called to do. But if I'm not speaking, if I'm not doing the work that I'm called to do, I am doing myself and you a great disservice. So I'm sitting here. I'm like, I don't want to be afraid anymore. I don't want to be afraid anymore. I just need to do it. Just do the thing that I know that I'm here to do. Just do it. So that's when I started calling this Nurturing Conversations podcast, and I started talking about everything that I've ever been through in my life, because I have this theory or idea. And I say I feel like more people need to know that they are not alone in the things that they are going through. Like, when you think about people in their lives, and and when you hear something happen to people and you're like, but they were smiling all the time, or they were so happy. And it's like, people are literally and figuratively wearing a mask, like, right now. Like, we're about to go and celebrate the holidays. If you celebrate the holidays, you're about to celebrate the holidays and you're going to put a mask on and you're going to go around your family because that's what family does. Family go and support and hang out and exchange gifts and do all of that. But knowing deep down on the inside of you, that's not what you want to do. You're uncomfortable being there. Your mother or your father, your brother, your cousins, your grandma, grandpa, they didn't treat you the best when you were growing up. They didn't respect you or the decisions that you made. Something I learned on this journey was setting boundaries. I thought in my mind like I had boundaries. But like I'm telling y'all, I learned so much about myself. I thought that I had boundaries. I had boundaries. I just wasn't enforcing those boundaries. I wasn't enforcing them. I was just, well, I don't want you to be mad. I want you to be able to go and hang out with your friends. Oh, I want you to come with us and have a good time. I would always justify, I will always make an excuse on why I can't stand 10 toes down on my boundaries. But in these last 40 years, I stand proudly on my boundaries. Proudly. If that means you're not going to talk to me anymore, you won't be the first and you won't be the last. I stand proudly on my boundaries. I realize that I don't really like I don't really like loud large crowds. Like I don't like to be around hi Rollins. I don't like to be around like large crowds. That's kind of weird because I'm a musician. But anyways, I don't like to be around large crowds and I like to maintain like visuals at all times. This is what I realized growing up. Like I will walk in a room and I can literally like I have a photogenic mind, is what they say. I will literally walk in a room and I'll take pictures of everybody with not pictures, but in my mind, I'm taking the pictures of everybody in the room, what they got on. I'm looking at hair, I'm looking at everything. And I probably had something to do. Um I that probably has something to do with me watching a lot of Law and Order, but I survey everything in the room. I want to know what's going on when it comes to getting drinks. Yeah, I don't need you to get me a drink. I will get my own drink. I don't need you to open the can for me. I don't need you to open the bottle. I realized that a lot of things from my childhood caused me to mistrust people. So I ain't trust people. You could be the most sweetest, kindest person in the world, but I still didn't trust you. Still don't trust you. I still gonna look at you side. I'ma side eye you and make sure, like, okay, cool, we good. But I was in Arizona. I said all of that to say I was in Arizona, and I knew when I was 14 years old, I never thought I would live to see 44. Never thought. So many things happened. I just did not think I was going to see. I just did not think I was going to see 44. I'm just going to say it like that. You can pick up what I'm putting. I did not plan to see it. I didn't think I was going to see it. But the day after, I said to myself, one day when I get to that place where I overcome myself, I am going to be a force to be reckoned with. I didn't really understand what that mean. I didn't even know. I did not know what that meant the journey for me was going to be. I just knew that when I got over myself, I would be okay. I'm in Arizona. I'm going out there to hang out with my niece, have a good time, get away from the city. I had an artist that she's a gospel artist. She's actually my niece. I talked about it on different platforms. She's actually my niece and she's doing a single and I was like, I would love to help you with your single. I had actually on this journey of healing and self-discovery, I had asked to work with the gospel artists. I worked with Latin artists, blues, hip hop, jazz. I work with singer-songwriters. I work with producers. I work with country artists. I haven't worked with the gospel artists. And so I was like, I really just want to work with a gospel artist. I want to work with them from start to finish. Like making sure their name, everything is taken care of. That's what I want to do. And so my niece was like, she's doing this song, and I was like, I would love to help you. And so even in me saying I would love to help you, I didn't understand that I was literally going to have to the boundaries. I was literally going to have to speak up, and I felt like this was the greatest opportunity for me to do it. So I'm working, we're recording it, and I'm working with the producer that she previously had, and then he just stopped communicating. So I was like, you know what? I dust off my music skills. I mixed, I cut up, I rearranged. I was doing all of this. I'm in Arizona. I'm working with a vocal producer. He used to live here. He now lives in Arizona. We didn't plan on like hanging out or anything, but I was like, "Hey, I'm in Arizona." So he takes me to a recording studio, and I tell him, this is the sound. This is what the song needs to sound like, and it needs to have this feel to it." So we're in the studio in Arizona. There's artists there, or like musicians there, and so they put it together. And so you know, they record all of that, and then they send it off to another mix engineer. So now I'm here like, okay, I don't like this mix. I don't like this mix. I don't like this mix. This mix. I like the other, I'm really going in there like, okay, this is what I like and this is what I don't like. And like the fourth, after getting the fourth mix, right, I was like, I started, like doubt and fear, like trying to creep in. It's like, well, you're asking too many times, you probably shouldn't have. And I said to myself, this was exactly what I did. I said, this artist entrusted me with bringing her vision to life, and that's what I'm going to do. I do not hear it and I do not feel it. I hear bits and pieces of it, but we need a full, complete project sound. This is what it should sound like. It took 12 versions. It's 12.4.3. 12 different versions. Until he sent it back to me, and as soon as I heard the first couple of notes, I said, this is it. I felt like the arms, I had goosebumps on my arms. I said, this is it. This is the song. This is it. Send me all the stuff to go with the song. This is it. So I shocked myself. So when I was talking to the artist, after I sent her the music, and was like, okay, this is what you need to do, upload it, blah blah blah, I said, thank you. Thank you, because I knew that I had that in me. I knew that I could do that. I just needed the opportunity to do it. So I'm in Arizona. I'm getting introduced to all of these different people. And I'm like, I wasn't even in Arizona for 24 hours. And I've met so many different people. And I just was crying, wailing. I just uncontrollably the entire time I was in Arizona. I mean, y'all saw if you watch my YouTube videos, I was barbecuing and all other stuff, but I spent the large majority of my time crying. And I had a meeting with my mentor while I was there. And my mentor asked me, he said, "How are you?" And I said, "I am finally walking in me." Let me tell you what that means. So when I had my innocence stolen, like I hated compliments. I hated when anybody would acknowledge my smile, dimples, hair, anything. I hated when people gave me compliments. And when I was growing up, I didn't understand why I hated it until I was sitting in Arizona and my mentor asked me how I was doing, and I started crying while we're in the Zoom. We were on a Google Meet. I started crying because the reality of why I hated people giving me compliments dawned on me. It dawned on me. I said, the first time that I had my innocence stolen, the person was telling me how beautiful I was, how my smile was beautiful, and they were just complimenting me. And you are young, I'm young. I'm not thinking anything beyond. I wasn't thinking anything beyond. So when things happened after that, I just was like, I'm never taking another compliment from nobody else. I don't care. I'm not going to show how smart I am. I remember I started wearing baggy clothes. I just did so many different things where it was just like, I don't need your compliments. I don't need your validation. That's what they call it. I don't need your validation. I didn't need any of that because I kept telling myself the entire time of my life, like, I am smart, I am brave, but I never wanted anybody else to see that. I never wanted anybody to give me a compliment because in my mind, it was like, oh, you giving me a compliment. Now, what you going to try to do to me? So I was surviving. When I tell you, I survived to 44. I survived. I felt like I had to protect myself in every situation. I'm talking to my mentor and I'm just like, oh my God. Do you know how many times I've pitched my business and they're like, you're so smart, you're so intelligent, you have all this knowledge, and you're doing this and you're doing that. And I felt they're giving me praise. They're saying how good of a job I did. But on the inside, I am like shriveling up. I'm just like, please stop. I'm over it. I'm just like, I'm over it. And so I told my mentor, I said, "Do you know that you were the first person who complimented me?" And I said, "Thank you." Even the fact my mentor is a guy, he complimented me and I said, "Thank you." And I said, "I had no idea." I knew when I was talking to him, I said, "I don't know, it's something different about you. It's something different about your energy. It's something different about you." So I'm talking to him and it seemed like I'm trying to talk to him about my business and growing, and he always would like pierce this part in my heart where it was just like, I don't know how you got here, but I'm something up. I have to keep talking to you because I don't know how you got here. Like you, when you experience hurt, you like, okay, I'm gonna build a wall, but you don't just build any wall. You don't just build any wall. You build a mega wall. You build a wall where it's just like cement. It's cement. There's the what's the big Brinks wall. You build a wall where people just cannot, will not, won't get in there, right? I'm looking like I don't know how you got behind this wall, but I'm gonna make sure that you're not gonna be up in here. You're not gonna be up in here just hold on, y'all. Sorry, y'all. Jake, I don't know. I don't know. I'm trying not to look at I'm trying not to look at the chat, but I started looking at the chat. But talking to my mentor, I'm like, this is the first time I actually like, took a compliment. I actually like started talking like this year is the most I've ever talked about myself. Yeah, I took care of it, but if you see him come back in again, feel free to do it, Rollins. I just feel free. Feel free. Um, so I'm talking to him. I've talked this the most I talked about myself. This the most that I shared my business. Like I have a whole music tech platform, right? I didn't even go on the platform. I didn't do anything because I was afraid. I was afraid that people would see it and be like, oh, she's smart. Oh, she's brilliant. Or, want to talk to me more about how smart or brilliant I was. Even though I know that I'm smart and brilliant, I just didn't want anybody to talk to me about that because then I felt like something was going to come behind that. Now, do y'all see how that was my childhood. I was like young when those things happened, but it affected me in my adulthood. Now I was talking to fast forward, I was talking to a friend and I was like, I need money. And when I said I need money, It was so weird because I've never even acknowledged the existence of money. Now I know you need money to pay bills and all of that stuff, but I never even took the time to acknowledge the existence of money because I always, in my mind, I thought I'm rich, I'm wealthy. That's just how I've been thinking my entire life. But when I said I need money, and I started to wail, and I was like, oh my God, that was the first time I ever talk about money. And that was the first time I ever talk about money because when my innocence was stolen, the person thought that giving me money would erase the fact of what they did to me. So I never looked at money like everybody, oh, I got to get this money. I never looked at money like that. I never looked at money in the sense of, oh, I got to have it or nothing. So when I said that, I said, oh my God, that's where it came from. That's where I never wanted to be the person that's gonna do anything for money. I never wanted to be that person, and I didn't realize that when I was younger, those things like compliments and receiving money after that, I never put those 2 together. So I'm talking to my friend, and I'm like, I create like right now, I've been this entire week, I've been sitting here putting together guides and tutorials and putting together courses for music artists to help them get the money that they owe, to help them understand the business and how to move in the business. And I let fear and doubt just they sit right here. When I tell you they're sitting right here. You hear this tapping I'm doing? They are sitting right here. I have books, notebooks of courses and things, tutorials, guides, books right here, all written out. All I have to do is design them. So I spent this week, I was designing and I was just like, oh my God. So I'm talking to my friend. I'm like, I need money. I need to have money where I don't have to work for it. It just flows freely to me. And so when I said that, on my vision board, or I have a vision board over on the other side of my wall, and I have all the 7 different streams of income I would like to make and how I would like to make them, which includes courses, ebooks, tutorials, consultations, children's books, children's albums, Christmas album. It has a list of everything, merchandise. It has a list of everything that I want or that's going to give me passive income. So I'm talking and I was just like, oh my God. So now I've acknowledged the fact that I didn't like compliments or I didn't want people to see my brilliance, but I wanted people to see my brilliance. Y'all see how 2 things can be true at the same time. And my disdain for money. So I'm in Arizona and I said, oh my God, I'm here because I felt like life was telling me to rest. I felt like if your body is like, just take a seat, just have a seat, take a little nap, just relax. I want you to listen to it. Listen to it. So I in Arizona, I'm crying. Like this point, I'm full-fledged crying, like boohoo, snot, everything, crying because I'm like, oh my God. This entire time, the things I thought I just threw in the back of my head, it didn't bother me, it didn't make me feel any kind of way, was the things that were rooted. They had become rooted in my thought process. They were rooted in how I operated. They were rooted there. So once I acknowledged them, I'm a type of person where once I talk about a situation, and I share my feelings about it, that's my form of release. Most people cry or go to the gym, like I talk about it. So that's why you see how I have the Nurturing Conversations podcast. I talk about it, I release it, I let it go. So as I was sitting there, I'm like, I had these idea at the beginning of the year. I had this idea to do like a TikTok series where I tell, small little clips of telling music artists, how they can protect their intellectual property. So I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it. I'm in Arizona. I'm crying, and my mind said, when you get up in the morning, create the video and post it on TikTok. I got up that next morning. I looked at the phone. I looked at the phone and I was trying everything in my mind to convince that, the little angels and the devils, they come and sit on your shoulder. I had one of them moments. It was like, now you know you can't do that. Why would you do that? I mean, like it's the end of the year. Why would you start now doing these videos? And the other one was like, post a video. That's all it kept saying was post a video. And this one was like, you don't got the right lighting. You don't got the microphones. You don't got none of this. Post a video. And then I just said to myself, I said, I don't want to walk around in fear. I don't want to walk around in doubt. I don't want to do that anymore. I want to live my best life. I almost died several times in these last 4 years. I don't want to die with all the knowledge that I have. I don't want to die with all of the wealth. I don't want to die with that. I want to leave as much as I can here. And as I am leaving out, I want to, I want to see the bright light and walk towards. That's what I want. So, long story short, I created the video. Actually, I'll tell y'all what actually happened. So, I got on TikTok. I was getting ready. Right when I was getting ready to hit the little plus in the middle of the thing, this video popped up. And a lady was talking about how somebody had stole her sound. Now I told y'all I had already had this intellectual property. I'd already had it. So the video popped up and said somebody stole my sound and they were using it and it was being credited to somebody else. And I was just like, oh my God, there's no way that when I say there's been so many coincidences in the last 4 years that I did not even believe in coincidence. I didn't even so that video popped up. I responded to her video. I typed a little something in her chat on her video, just here's what you could do. And then people started responding to my response on her video. And so post a video, post a video. So I did a little quick video. It was like basically talking about, all you need is 30 seconds and you're going to start making money from your sounds or whatever. And so then that video started picking up and then it was like, post the video. That the video I posted, it wasn't the video I was told. Okay, hold on, I'll wait. Sorry. Oh no, you good. You good. I'll wait. Let me know when you get back. I'm trying to tell y'all, embrace the journey. I embraced every part of the journey, the good, the bad, the ugly. Okay, so I posted a video in response to the post that I originally posted in the ladies thing. I posted a video just sharing another snippet. This the angel, I'm gonna call it the angel, the good me was like post a video. So then I created the video. I created the video and I'm like, welcome to episode 1 of Intellectual Property Unlocked. I was shaking the entire time that I did it. And so I posted it. Usually when I post, I just like post it and I get off the app. I posted it and I just started, scrolling on the app, just checking out other people in my inbox. I started seeing these little numbers appear at the bottom of my thing, my inbox. Artist was just, hey, do you got, they were asking me all kind of questions. And I was just like, I feel like I'm ready now. I feel like I'm ready to share my intellect. I'm ready to be like I never wanted to be in a spotlight. Like this year, um, a newspaper article was released and it highlighted me and my music platform. And people were congratulating me. And I had people like, there's people in jail, so I guess they get newspapers. So a lot of people that I knew that were in jail wrote me and was like, "Oh my God, you were on the front page of the business section." And I was like, that's dope. Like it just embracing all of it. It was just like it's okay for people to know that I'm smart. It's okay for you to know like I am dedicating my life to make sure that music artists get paid for the music that they create. Like it's okay for people to know that. Like My platform won second place in a hackathon. Capitol Records and my local radio station hosted a hackathon, and we won second place. I never said that out loud. I experienced so many things in my life that I never even talked about. I never celebrated. They just happened and I just moved on. Like that was it. And then on this journey of healing and self-discovery, I'm like, no, I'm celebrating everything. I'm celebrating big wins, small wins. I'm celebrating everything. And so this year, I'm like, I want to travel more. I want to travel. And I started to think about it. I literally was on every means of transportation. I was on a bus, car, train, plane, boat. I was on all of them. And I was just like, you know what? 2025, I got, they say you got to be specific, whatever that word is. Y'all know what I'm saying. You got to be more exact in the things that you ask for. So I said, 2025, I want to travel, and these are the places that I want to travel, and here's how I want to travel. And I need the finances to travel. Now, I'm not just like willy nilly just out here traveling. Like, I want to go, like, I want to go to South, not want to, I will be going to South by Southwest. I will be going to the Grammys. I will be going to Afro Tech. I will be going to Music Tectonics. I'm missing something. The Music Biz in Atlanta conference. I want to go. I will be going to Dialogue Days in New York. Like I have all these different things where I want to be. I want to go. I want to represent my business. I want to represent music artists. I feel like I've been calling myself a music business advocate for I don't know how long, but in 2024, I actually walked in there where I was just like, hey, if you're an artist and you about to put out music, these are the steps that you should take before you release that music because this is how you're going to get paid. When I say embrace the journey, I didn't realize that the journey of healing and self-discovery was going to take me back to the worst moments of my life and show me that I survived those things, not just because I had to do weird things to survive, but it showed me that I had the strength. You know how we pray for like, give me the strength, give me the courage to stand in front of these people and talk to them. Like, give me and it literally walked me from 8 all the way into now and showed me that I have strength, courage, wisdom, perseverance. I literally hold on the inside of me everything I need. I was born with everything I need to be successful. I just had to open up my heart. I had to open up my life in order for me to see those things. And you know what's let me tell you, you hear things like that and you're just like, yeah, okay. Yeah, all right, okay. But at the same time, when you actually start living by those things, you start understanding like I remember when I was 18 years old, right? I had a nervous breakdown. It was a nervous breakdown. They call it a brain attack. It's like a nervous breakdown and a stroke at the same time, right? I lost my ability to walk and talk. They told me, actually, May 23rd, 1999, they told me I would never walk or talk again. They literally, like, when I tell you, I done had some things happen to me. They told me I would never walk or talk again. And I said, I was talking to my friend, who's still my friend to this very day. I said I will always have love for her because when I couldn't walk or talk, she came and she sat with me. I couldn't talk to her. I had no words, nothing. Nothing would come out. I voluntarily stopped talking and then I couldn't talk at all. Nothing would come out. So when I went to the vocal therapy and all this stuff happened, I said, you are, how like I was telling my friend, I said, it's people praying to have cameras. It's people praying to have lights. It's people praying to have um, joysticks or controllers, or it's people praying for the opportunity where they can go live on these different platforms. It's people praying for the things that I have, and I'm just sitting over here like, oh. One day when I get to the point where and then I said to myself, I was like, no, we are doing ourselves a great disservice. We have all of the tools. I have everything in this room that I need to be successful. Everything. If I showed y'all what I was using, like to light up all of this, you see it's a lamp right there. I got another little lamp right here. I'm using household do it yourself household things to talk. Do it yourself household everyday things to talk. The lights is household items to talk. The only thing is not is this mic, and I asked for this mic three months ago. Actually, this mic, and I bought myself this Rodecaster Pro last year for Christmas because I wanted to do more podcasting. In 2025, I will be doing more podcasting. I'm going to bring my Melanated Musicology podcast. We're going to bring this here too. I do have two podcasts. I have podcasts. So that's how I know, like, on the movie Sister Act, Whoopi Goldberg said to Lauryn Hill, she said, if you wake up every day and you feel like you should be a member of the Ice Capades or you should do something with the Ice Capades, you should do something with the Ice Capades. I wake up every day and I'm trying to figure out how can I tell music artists about the business of music? How can I make sure that they understand how they're going to get paid? And then I'm looking at these guides and these tutorials and things that I have right here. And I said to myself, before this year is out, in these next 10 days, I am going to upload five. I'm going to upload five courses. I already have an ebook uploaded. When I tell y'all, when I say I'm gonna do something, oh, I'm gonna do it. I already got an ebook uploaded. It's available. If you go to my website, you can put your email in information, or you're gonna get an ebook right away. So I got one ebook, I got two guides, and I got two tutorials. Five things I'm gonna upload because 2025 I want to start onboarding. I do have artists on the platform, but they helped me get to, like, they were on during my MVP, but I'm going to do a beta for 2025, the spring of 2025, because I am going to do what I can to make sure that music artists, I I I don't want I don't want the next generation of music artists to give up because they don't see money. I don't want them to give up because they feel like people don't believe in them. I don't want them to give up. Like, I never felt like that. I feel like my uncles who traveled and toured the world and did all the really huge famous things, and they were like, you're going to learn the business, and I was like, no, I'm just going to be a songwriter and I'm gonna write songs and people going to sing them. And then one day my uncle was like, you should start studying Wendy Day, and I started studying Wendy Day, and then I was really intrigued as to how people got paid, or where was the money, or why was people of color not making as much money as everyone else, but they're like doing all of the singing and making the music. Like, where's the money going? And I started realizing where the money was. And it wasn't what we thought. It was the business of music. And so I focused on the business. I went and got a bachelor's degree in music administration. I never would have said that out loud, but I just put my head down and I started studying it. So I went for to graduate school for English professional writing because I love to write. If you can't tell, I love to write, I love to talk. And so in the midst of me going for English professional writing, something said, look up law. So I went and looked up entertainment law, and I saw that if I go to law school in the state of Wisconsin, I could actually go and graduate, and I don't have to take the bar and just practice in Wisconsin. And I was like, okay, cool. I want to be in Wisconsin anyways. I love Wisconsin. I love Milwaukee. I love Wisconsin. And so I'm just looking at all these different things, and then I'm no longer operating out of fear. I'm operating out of, I want you to have this information. So you can't say nobody told you. You can't say, I always felt like I wish more people talked about it. I wish more people talked. Like, I was just telling my friend, I said, I wish people who had lost a parent, like, I wish they would tell us what it's like to lose a parent. Cause I'm gonna tell y'all, let me tell y'all, in 2001 or 2001, in 2021, I lost my father. Now, me and my father spent 6 years. I'm 44. 20 2021, I was 40, 41. I was 41. So 6 years. So from 41, count back 6 years. That was the only time I got to spend with my father in my entire life. 6 years is what I got to spend with him. And it was the most amazing time ever. It was the most amazing time ever. I wouldn't It was the most amazing time ever. Like when you're younger, I don't know if you experienced like I remember used to be so angry. I was so angry. I would say things like, I hope I never see him because, I was angry. He wasn't there. I was angry. I was a young lady and things were happening to me. I was so angry and I would say all manner of things. So when my father, 6 years before he passed, or 5 years before he passed, he came and he's like, I just want to talk to you and I want to, I know I can't go back. I know I can only start from here. And I was like, I want to apologize to you because I was so angry at you. I felt like if you were there, that this wouldn't have happened to me. I was angry. And while I was talking to him, I was crying because I was like, I really felt like you were supposed to protect me. Like, that's what I felt. I couldn't deny it. That's what I felt. I felt you should have been there. It's your job as my father to be there and to protect me, and you didn't do it. And so this happened. But by the end of our conversation, but by the end of it all, he told me that he had stage 4 prostate cancer, and I was crying even harder because now I was angry. Now I am totally perturbed because it's like how you're not in my entire life, and then you come and tell me you could possibly. And so then that's when I was already on the journey of healing self discovery. I just didn't know it yet. I didn't know it yet. So that's when I shifted my focus and was like, you know what? I'm gonna spend as much time as I have with you, I'm gonna spend it with you. So for those next 6 years, either I was on my way to his house, he was on his way to my house, he was just leaving my house, I was just leaving his house, or we was on the phone. He like, I'm downstairs at the door. So when he passed away, I was I was heartbroken. I spent so much of my life being angry at him and so much of my life, like going over the things that I'm going to say to him when I actually see him. But I was grateful that I had 6 years to spend with him. So my father passed away. I buried him, or I didn't bury him. We memorialized him. He's actually sitting in my living room. He was cremated, so he's actually sitting on the top of my entertainment stand. Um, So my father buried him December 10th, 2021, or y'all know, memorialized him December 10th, 2021. January, actually, it was the end of January, beginning of February. Is one of those. I think it was the beginning of February. I'm gonna say it was the beginning of February. My mom had a series of strokes. Now I just lost my father in December. Actually, he died 2 days after Thanksgiving, and so I memorialized him in December. So I was overcome with the grief, overcome, overwhelmed. I was just out of it. So then my mom's at church and they're like calling me, like, hey, something going on with your mom. She's looking for her keys and her keys are around her neck and she doesn't know us. And like she's saying she doesn't know us. And so I'm like, what? She, she didn't been in that church for as long as so I zoom. Now I don't be speeding no more. I used to. Totally honest. I used to, but I zoom. I was way on the other side of town. I zoom to her so fast, and she got out the car and she's talking to me, and she's like, "They're trying to make it seem like I'm crazy. I'm just looking for my keys." And I'm looking at her, and her keys was around her neck, and I'm just looking at her, and I'm like, "She doesn't look right. I need you to get in this car, and I'm gonna take you to the hospital." And she's like, told her the whole everything that was going to happen. She didn't hear a word that I said. She just still looking for her keys. Mm-mm. Get her in the car, take her to the emergency room. They said she's had a series of strokes. A series of strokes. I'm looking at my mom. I just lost my dad in December. It's not even a whole month later, and my mom is sitting here, and I'm just like, I'm the oldest, and I'm the only girl. So, of course, I'm tasked. This is my task now to make sure that my mom is good. And so I'm looking at her, and I'm just like, I can't do two at one time. I, I can't do two at one time. Like we know that one day, we all know that one day we gonna have to go. But I just was like, I can't do two at one time. I can't do two at one time. I was not ready for the first one, even though I knew I was not ready for the first one. I can't do the second. I can't do two at one time. And Rollins, he will never give you more than you could bear. I said I can't do two at one time. So my mom experienced a bunch of medical situ- situations that she's still, dealing with today. And so I just thought to myself, like, man, it's so crazy because you know, that one day you're going to have to memorialize or bury your parents. Like that's we all know that, but the reality of that is heavy. It's so heavy, especially when you're in charge of like medicine and doctor visits and tests and all of those different things. It is so heavy. With my father, I was tasked with um, the memorial service. I was tasked with making sure all of his last minute, all of his loose ends, everything was changed. I know Rollins. I don't know why I call you Rollins, but I was tasked with making sure everything was done. And so that's why I say I wish people who experience the loss of a parent will talk more about it, because those of us who have lost a parent, those of you who still have both parents, you never want to feel that. Of course, we're all going to feel it one day, but you never want to feel like that. That's a loss. Like when I lost my grandmother, that was that was 29 years ago. I lost my grandmother, but it still feel fresh like it was just yesterday. I lost my grandmother 29 years ago on Thanksgiving night. I lost my father 3 years ago, 2 days after Thanksgiving. Um, I lost my cousin. I almost lost my mom in 2021. I had to have a major surgery and they were telling me about cancer. I'm telling you, they be throwing cancer out here like it's just you got cancer, they be throwing cancer around. um yeah, I don't have cancer though. But that was the worst 12 days of my life. It took them 12 days to figure out if I had cancer or not. Let me tell you, let me just say this, right? I don't know what it is about me, but I always feel like I have to get a second opinion. Always. I remember when I first went in and they were like, "Oh my god." Like now, this is let me tell you how crazy this is, right? This this journey of healing and self-discovery has been a really amazing, wildly crazy journey. I experienced a really bad breakup in 2020. My father passed away in 2021. My mother has a series of stroke 2022. I fall down 5 stairs. I go to the urgent care and they're like, they looking at me weird, like, "Are you sure?" When they asked, "Are you safe at home?" I was like, "Wait, what?" When did they start asking that? "Are you safe at home?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm safe at home." They was like, "We need you to go over to the emergency room because you're hemorrhaging." And I was like, "What the world is that? Like, what? How? I only fell down 5 st I didn't even in my mind, I'm like, I didn't even hit I mean, of course, I hit my gluteus maximus in my back, but I ain't hit it that hard. It was just like boop, boop, boop. I didn't hit it that hard. So I go over to the emergency room. They're like, "Oh, you're hemorrhaging and we can't let you go back out. We got to rush you over to." That's so weird because I was going to be rushed to Freighter. It was like, "We got to keep you here till we can stop the hemorrhaging." And then she was talking. She was like, "Yeah, there's a mass growing." And then she told me about my cancer antigens. If y'all didn't know, there is things as cancer antigens. They told me my cancer incidence was supposed to be like 0.3 or to 37.9 or 37.5 or something like that. It was a really low number. That's what, your cancer markers or whatever it is. And mine was 279.5. And it was like, we need you to figure out if you're going to do chemotherapy or radiation. Like, what are you going to do? And I just looked at them. As soon as she said cancer, all I heard was literally, it was like, because I'm sitting here looking at her like, ma'am, I just went to I only felt, I was fixated on the fact that I only fell down 5 stairs. And it wasn't the whole top. It was the last, like the last 5 stairs. It was it. That was it. The last 5 stairs. I fell down 5 stairs and now I'm in here hemorrhaging and with the possibility of cancer. So they're like, can't let you go. I'm like, oh, okay. I need to get home. And then one of the ladies came in. She's like, wasn't you here? Wasn't you just here? I said, yes, my mom, literally a week before, was just at this hospital having a series of strokes. She just got released. And now here I am. I laid up in the bed, hemorrhaging. And so it took like 24 hours. And then it was like, we need you to go to Freighter. And I was like, I will go. I have to make sure I have to go check on my mom because again, I'm the oldest and I'm the only girl. And I'm not saying that my brothers are not responsible or they won't. They're just weird. Like it's weird. Guys are weird sometimes when it comes to the health of the people that they love. So I go home. I'm like, how in the hell am I going to tell them that these people told me that I have to make the decision on if I am going to do chemotherapy or actually, I have to tell them I need a ride to the cancer center at Freighter Hospital. How do you tell you just lost your father to stage 4 prostate cancer? How do you tell your loved ones that you now have to go to the cancer center at Freighter Hospital? I That was wearing on my mind. So I was just like, I didn't tell my mom. I'm gonna tell y'all now. I did not tell my mom. There was a reason why I didn't tell my mom. I didn't tell my mom. So I told my brothers, and I was like, they want me to have a surgery. I got to go on this date to the cancer center. And they were like, why are you going to the cancer center? And I told them why. And they were just like, so what are you going to do? And so then I go, they do one more series of tests. And so then she put this packet in front of me and she's like, um, the mass is this size and this is what we want to do. And I forgot to mention, as I'm going to my appointment at the cancer center, I have to walk past the where people go in to do chemotherapy. And I literally broke down walking in the cancer center and walking past. And while she was talking to me, I just was like, I can't believe this is my life. Like, I only fell down 5 stairs. I was fixated on that, if you can't tell. I only fell down 5 stairs. How am I in here talking to you about cancer? Like deciding if I'm going to have chemotherapy or. So I was like, can I get a second opinion? And so, uh, my second opinion, I had to go to another doctor that was at the cancer center at Freighter. And so they were like, we need you to have, I told them I'm not going to have it. I don't want any radiation. I don't want any chemotherapy. I don't want anything. I said, I'm going to smoke. I'm going to be so high. I'm going to eat edibles. I don't even eat edibles. I don't smoke. I don't do any of that. But I said, I am going to be so high that I'm just going to do this naturally. That's what I'm going to do. So they scheduled me because by this time, the mass was so large, it had moved all of my organs over to the left side and it was expanding and like crushing things. And so they're like, we have to have you, you have to go into surgery. So March 18th, 2022, I went in for what was supposed to be a 2-hour surgery, I think it was. I went in there at 6 a.m. and I didn't come out of there until 3 p.m. And when I woke up, of course, they told me the news of it was larger than the last time they spoke with me. And so they had to take away different things. I was heartbroken, but the first question I asked was, do I have cancer? And they said, we can't tell you that right now. We have to send it off and we have to do all the testing. And I was heartbroken. And for 12 days, I sat and I cried and I just wanted to just be alone and n- didn't understand how this could be my life. And on that 12th day, while they were removing the staples that were in my stomach, they were like, "Oh, you don't have cancer." And I cried hysterically because I was like, when you guys were delivering the news that I had cancer, like you were sure that this is something that I had, and you put this pamphlet down and you were like, are you going to do this? Are you, which route are you going to take? We need you to start you on it right away. You were adamant. I laid in that bed and I cried and I was just like, I feel so bad for people who get diagnosed with cancer. Cause that's not an easy decision. Like when I tell you that was not an easy decision for me, but I knew I had lived one hell of a life and I was not, I wanted to, for lack of a better terms, I wanted to go out on my own terms. I wanted to go out. I wanted to be, I didn't want to lose my hair. I didn't want to do none of that. I just wanted to be happy. I just wanted to be happy. That's it. So March 18th, I have the surgery. I go in at 6 o'clock in the morning. I hug everybody, kiss them, and I come out 12 days after that. They say you don't have cancer. Um, they call me back and say, "Hey, we forgot to tell you you're going to be in surgical menopause." So, ta-da! So while I am recovering from a level 1 trauma surgery, I thought I was dying. The whole entire time I thought I was dying. I was on fire. Like my body was just, and they were like, "Oh, you're surgical menopause." And I was like, "Oh." So that explains why I am on fire or the room is boiling hot. And so then after that, um, let's see, 2023, my twin brother almost dies. Um, yeah, that one hit different. He blood pressure was 280 something. It was high, high, high. And it was like he's doing a stroke out and then his kidneys failed and it was just a lot. We're still processing that. And then I got sick Christmas last year and was sick all the way until February of 2024 this year. In the midst of me being sick, my cousin passes away. My cousin, who's like my brother, he passed away. And so I'm like, oh, I suffered so much loss in my life. I suffered so much loss. And at times, I really did want to give up. But at the same time, I wanted to give up. I knew that it was better on the other side. I knew that more was coming. I knew that greatness, I haven't lived my greatness. I was denying myself happiness and I was denying myself joy because I was putting everyone else's feelings and emotions and thoughts in front of my own. And life was just like, it's time to focus on you. It's time to focus on you. I've been on a journey of healing and self discovery for 4 years, but it wasn't until these last 2 years that I began to understand what life was telling me. It's time to focus on you. This year, I realized every time I end a YouTube video, I say, love yourself, know yourself, trust yourself, and be yourself. I was saying that to you guys, like encourage you to empower, uplift, and motivate. And the more I said it, the more I heard myself say it, the more I said it to you, the more I started to believe that. I started to believe who I am. I started to believe what I am. I started to believe that I could literally have and do and go and be whatever I wanted to be. So Arizona was the place where Arizona has always been a place to me where I can clearly think. When I tell you guys, like I was looking, um, I was live on Twitch and I was in the backyard and I was looking up and I thought it was so weird because I never seen the sky so blue. Like I never I wrote a song about it. I'm gonna share it with y'all in a minute, but um I had never seen the sky so blue and there was no clouds. Like I've never seen a sky with no clouds. And as I'm looking up, I literally see the journey that I just completed, or it's not completed because I feel like as long as we're alive, we're going to be healing from something. But the journey I embarked on, I literally saw where I started and where I am. And I was just like, oh my God, it's time. It's time. I can't hide behind excuses. I can't hide behind ignorance. I can't hide behind anything else. It's time for me to walk in a path that was blazed for me before I was even here. And so when I was in Arizona, I was riding the train back here. It took 2 days to get here. So I was riding the train back here. And as I was coming back, I cried because I felt like I'm coming back a new person. I'm coming back with a new mindset. I'm coming back new. I said, if it doesn't bring me peace, I don't want nothing to do with it. Nothing. I was even thinking, I said, when I said I wanted to be light, love, and positivity, I literally switched the way I talk about things, the way I think about things. I literally switched all of it. Because I don't think we realize, like when we talk on a regular basis, I don't think we realize how negative we are. Even if we're not being negative to other people, we be negative to ourselves. I had started at the beginning of this journey, I had started looking at myself in the mirror and say, you are beautiful, you are smart, you are intelligent, you walk in integrity, you are confident. I started telling myself these things every day. And it was like I became these things. I was already it. But it was like I started to become and walk and be those things. So when um the news came and when the newspaper came and when Summerfest came, when all these different people came and were like, hey, we want to partner with you. We want to do this. And I was just looking like, I'm ready. I'm ready to walk in that. So as I was sitting down making plans for 2025, I was like, "Oh, y'all shouldn't have let me get here. I'm ready now. I know how to walk in a room and people being disrespectful. I know how to call out disrespect. You don't have to be disrespectful at all." So I be on these different platforms. I be telling people, you don't have to be disrespectful. If you wake up every day and feel like you just gonna be negative in somebody's life, you need to go on a journey of healing and self-discovery. There's something on the inside of you that is broken that needs to be healed. I don't think people wake up and just be like, I'm gonna be an asshole today. I don't really think people do that. I think circumstances happen. That's why I began to study emotional intelligence. I began to understand, like, you ever go through a drive-through and like the person in front of you cuss the people out, and then we always be like, well, if you didn't want to come to work, you shouldn't come to work today. Like there's always like people, we never know what a person is going through. And so in my mind, I'm like, I don't know what kind of day you had. So I'm going to be kind to you. I'm going to be nice to you. If I would be the only person that was nice and kind to you, I want to be nice and kind to you. I want to be nice and kind to everybody. Like when I go out, I don't know if you guys have this, but where I live, the homeless people that were standing hold signs on like the inner, like not the interstate, but like the little islands in the street. And so I would give to them. I would give to them. I would go in the gas station or in the store. I would give to them. If I don't have them, like, hey, I can get you something if you want. Like I would do that. And I remember my younger brother asked me, why do I do that? I said, because if ever I am in a situation like this, I want somebody to give to me. And those people are humans. I want somebody to look at me and consider me as a human and still treat me with love and respect. And so when I became homeless, I was actually just telling them like, January I make 10 years I've lived in this house. It's been 10 years since I was homeless. 10 years since I was homeless. The fact that the fact that I even was homeless and sleeping in cars. And when I tell you, like, I look back at all of it and I'm just so grateful. I'm so grateful for the journey. I'm so grateful to have all of the opportunities that I have. I'm just grateful. I'm grateful to have had 6 years with my father. I'm grateful my mother is still here. I'm just grateful. I'm grateful for you all. I'm grateful for the support and love that you guys, girls and non binary people, have showed me throughout this entire journey. People have come and gone, but you are still here. I'm still here. We're still here. Um, I will forever be grateful. Grateful. Gratitude is something that I real life like grateful. What are you? I'm grateful. I try to talk. I be trying. I be wanting to go live. Like if you ever come during like the puzzles or when I'm playing Call of Duty Mobile, I try to talk, but sometimes I be so overwhelmed because I'm like, I'm still here, y'all. Like these past 4 years have not been easy, but I'm still here. I'm still here to talk to y'all about it. I can still hug my nieces and nephews. I'm still here. That means there's more for me to do. I'm still here. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. But I want to say this to you. I know a lot of people are preparing to celebrate the holidays. And if the thought of you going around your family makes you feel uncomfortable, don't go. If the thought of you going to be around your family makes you uncomfortable, don't go. I know people gonna be mad at you. They gonna feel some kind of way, but I want you to take your time. I want you to take this time right now and think about yourself. Think about the things you experienced in life, and look at the fact that you survived a global fucking pandemic for 4 years. Four of them. We are currently still in it. They haven't announced like, hey guys, it's gone. And the president of the United States of America just had it. We're still in the midst of it, but you are still here for a reason. There's a reason you are still here. So, again, if you are preparing or you have thoughts about going around your family and you feel uncomfortable, do not go. Do not force your kids to go. These next 10 days should be the best 10 days of your life as we get ready to walk into 2025. You should, as you prepare to do your New Year's resolution, vision board, vision books, whatever it is that you do, peace, joy, happiness, love should be at the top of your list. I know a lot of people is going to have, I want to lose weight, I want a new car, I want to travel, I want to do all of these things, but I feel like I'm in a space where everything that I wish somebody would have said to me back then, I be that person now. I tell the story of the really crazy thing is I found an actual picture from the day before I was drinking and driving. And what I'm about to say, I'm not saying this like who drinking and driving. I'm saying this as a cautionary tale. Um November 2008, one of my older cousins had just passed away. And so we were all at the repast and we're hanging out. And, they have this thing like, oh, if you drink or if you're drinking, you should eat greasy foods because it sops up all the alcohol or whatever. So I'm drinking, I'm eating, I'm doing all that stuff. And I'm like, way, 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 way. Like if you think of your house and the farthest distance from your house, that's where I was from my house. And so I figured I had stopped drinking. Uh, I stopped drinking and I was drink when I used to drink, I didn't drink like chasers. I would just drink straight. Like, I was straight, no chaser. So I figured I had stopped drinking well in enough time and I had ate enough food. So I was like, okay, I'll see y'all later. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna drive home. So I'm driving and I get I want to say halfway to my house. I'm gonna say halfway to my house. I get halfway to my house and there's this light, and it, it seemed like I was just so tired. I didn't put the drink in. I was tired. So I'm like, got the air on. I'm like, I just need to make it home. And I pull up to this light, and I put my feet on the brake because the light, it's red. So I put my feet on the brake, and it's like at the wee hours in the morning. It's like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. So I'm at the light and I got my foot on the brake and I fell asleep. And I woke up and it felt like I had been asleep for a long time. But I like pulled over and I just started crying because I was like, I never would have thought like I would be someone that was drinking and driving. I never would have thought. Cause in my mind, I was like, I'm not drunk. I wasn't drinking then. I like said stop drinking like earlier in the night. So I should be good to go home. So I was like, I pulled over and I was like, hey, if you let me make it home, I promise I will never drink ever again. I will tell everybody about drinking and driving. I didn't hit anybody. I just scared the living I scared myself. I scared myself straight. So I don't drink, and then I didn't drink or drive. And after that, I've been telling everybody about drinking and driving. And then I even took it as far as like if the people that I'm going with, if we're at an engagement or we're somewhere and they're drinking and driving, I immediately call a Uber, a Lyft. I call a designated driver. I am not getting in the vehicle with you. No, it's a no for me. So I was on my Facebook clearing out my photos and I saw the picture and I was just like, oh my God, if my foot would have slipped off the brake while I was sleeping, my life would have been different. I just was literally thinking about all of the things that I've overcome in my life, and right here, right now, 2025, I will be turning 45 years old, and I feel like officially rid myself of all of the issues. I don't like to say traumas because most people be getting triggered when you say traumas, but all of the issues from my childhood, my young adulthood, my adulthood, my super adult 30s, even my 40s, I feel like I process them. Before I would throw them in the back of my mind and just move on like nothing ever happened. Now I'm like, okay, this happened. This made me feel like this. Why did I feel like this? Um, if I feel like I need to say something, I'm saying it. And that's why I'm telling you, like, if you think about going around others, if you think about going outside, if you think about just you're uncomfortable around these group of people, don't go. Think about yourself in this moment and what makes you happy. Or if you do go, I'm gonna tell you don't go. But if you do go, go in, get you a plate, say hi, and leave. We shouldn't be putting ourselves in uncomfortable situations having survived a global pandemic. We should be doing whatever it is that makes us happy. That's been my motto for the last 4 years. If it doesn't make me happy, if situations like even when I'm pitching my business, if I go and the VCs want to go to coffee or lunch or tea or brunch, ugh, I'm coffee, tea to brunch out. But listen, if they want to go and if their conversation doesn't seem like they're interested in me or the things that I have going on, I will eat the lunch, I will drink the tea and I will drink the coffee and then I will just leave it at that. I will go my separate ways. I'm for people who love me and support me. Those are people I want to be around. I don't want to be around people that's just around for I don't even do that in my everyday life. I'm at the point now where I'm speaking up more. If an artist come to me and I feel like I can't help them, I will refer them to someone else. I'm not one of those people like I have to do everything. No, if I know that I can't help you, if you are trying to go in this direction, hold on. Let me call this person. Are you free? Okay, I will give, and I'm not just going to pass you off to anybody. I will make sure that the person that I'm passing you off to as just as a person of integrity as I am. Cause there's people that's been I don't listen. When I tell y'all, I done seen some things in my 44 years of living. I've seen a lot of things, and the last thing I want to do is pass somebody off to someone else and they get hurt. I don't want to do that, and I don't want to be the cause of why anybody is hurt. So that's why, if I don't have anything good to say, I'm not going to say it. And I come here and I tell y'all the things that I'm experiencing, the things that I overcome, with the hopes that you're listening and you're like, maybe you had a day where you just was like, I don't think I'm able to do it. I want you to know, like, hey, I had a lot of those days. But if I would have just sat there and twiddled my fingers, knowing the inside of me was like, get up, look at these artists. I be scrolling on TikTok. I be scrolling on Facebook, all these different platforms. I be scrolling, and I'm like, when I see a new artist come up, I'm like, hey, who handles your music administration? Hey, is it registered? Hey, I'm asking all of the questions, and they looking at me like, what? But this me building relationships with people. I want to make sure that like, you need to register your sound if you are creating TikToks, or if you're on YouTube. Like, if you're a producer, you don't have to necessarily work with the artist to, like, you know, be successful. You can work with these different libraries. Like, is it Epidemic Sounds? Like, you can work with these different libraries. Like, there's alternatives. I was saying to someone the other day, last week, me and my niece, every time my niece comes around, she feel like she has to. When she found out I played basketball, every time she comes around, she wants to play basketball all the time. And at first, I thought it was like, oh, she trying to see if she could beat me. So I was like, oh, I might be old, but I still can hoop. But then I started to realize it's like she's learning. She's learning her shot. Like, I feel like when I saw her, like, she would go to this one spot. She would run around, but she would go to this one spot. Every time she got to that one spot, I was like, "How does that feel for you?" And she was like, It feels comfortable. It feels natural." And I was like, "That's your spot." I don't know if y'all play basketball or sports or anything like that, but it looks natural. It, so I was telling her, like, when I was in college, I never wanted to, like, I did have hopes and aspirations of playing in the WNBA. And let me tell you, I want to play in the WNBA. I want to be on the Houston Comets with Cheryl Swoop, Kim Porter. Kim Perot is my favorite basketball player. Kim Perot, Cheryl Swoops, Cynthia Cooper, Tina Thompson. We was gonna be in there hooping. We was gonna win all the WNBA titles. They did. I wasn't there yet. And then I wanted to go overseas and play in Italy. That was my dream. But then I was thinking, like, why don't they tell, like, sports people? Because, like, when really start doing, I have this thing about me, was when I get interested in something, I jump down the rabbit hole and try to figure out as much as I can. So I started thinking about how many people actually get signed to the NBA and the NFL and all these different teams. And I was like, why don't they encourage these young people who don't make it to the NBA? Why don't they encourage them to be like basketball coaches or sports analysts or trainers? I mean, you done had your knee broke, ACL tore, you done had all these different things a bunch of times. Like, you could go and say, like, why don't they encourage that? It's like, you either gonna go to the NBA or the NFL, or that's it. Like, why don't they encourage Major League Baseball or soccer or hockey? Like, why don't we encourage, like, when I talk to music artists, like, you don't necessarily have to be the singer. You could be the producer, the engineer, you could be the music administrator, you could be the graphic designer, you could be the manager, you could be the booking manager. It's so many different jobs that people could do, but we don't talk about those jobs. Everybody want to be the singer or the rapper, and it's just like, some people aren't as talented, and we could go down the rabbit hole with that. We could go down the rabbit hole. But why don't we offer people the alternative? Like, earlier today, me and my brothers was talking, and we were talking because it's like, when we were growing up, I grew up in church. When we were growing up, there was like marriage, 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 marriage. Marriage, 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 marriage. You got to get married. You got to get married. And I was thinking, I said to my brother, I said, they don't even teach you about marriage. They just say marriage. They don't teach you how to be a wife. They don't teach you how to be a husband. They don't teach you how to do finances. They don't teach you anything. They just push marriage, 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 marriage. And then you find yourself married to somebody and you're not happy. And then you can't because God don't like divorces. It's a whole different thing. And then I said to myself, we don't teach people. We just expect you to know. Like when I tell people like, "Hey, I work with music artists and this is what I do," and they like, "There's the internet, there's Google, there's YouTube," and I was like, "But you can go to YouTube, but if you don't know what to look for, you're just gonna be on YouTube. You're just gonna be there." If like I be telling music artists all the time, I say, "Hey, get on Twitch," and the first thing they say is, "I don't play video games. I'm not a DJ." And I'm like, "What? Do y'all know that people are sleeping while you're going to work and you're complaining about your job? Oh, I hate my job. Oh, this job they get on my nerves. They keep all of that about your job is people sleeping on Twitch and they're making money from sleeping." I had a whole conversation with my mom earlier in the year. I was serious, but I was really laughing. I was laughing, but I was really serious. I was like, "You, when we were little, you used to tell us not to smack. You used to tell us to chew with our mouth closed." And I showed her like B Love and some other people. I was like, "Look at these people making so much money from smacking." I told, she's like, "What you doing?" I was like, "I'm playing the game." She's like, "On your phone?" I said, "Yeah," because I had my controller, and I was like, "Remember when you told us that these video games we couldn't make a living playing video games? Guess what? People making a living playing video games." She was like, "Well, I didn't know. I was like, hey, I totally get it." I remember my mom told me, "Don't go to school for music," because I grew up in a musically inclined family. So everybody was doing music. We had all the instruments, we had everything because everybody was doing it. She's like, "Don't go to school for music." So I tried multiple things. I was going to school to be a pediatrician, but I couldn't get music out of my heart. I couldn't, everything was music to me. And so I I was studying, and then they was like, "Oh, you got to do not trigonometry." It was something along those lines. And I was like, "It's a no for me." No, it's so crazy because I have a twin brother and he loves math. Like when I tell you, you can shoot list a whole bunch of numbers at him and he can give you the answer just like that. Now me, uh literature, English, and science. Those are my things. Science and literature, I got you all day. But math is just, it's just I have a complete not now. But back then I would have a math. But when it comes to that money, honey, I can get that money together. Oh, we can get that money together. But math, but the really crazy thing, now let me tell y'all, the really crazy thing, I love algebra. Can you guess? Can you guess why I love algebra? Because it has A, X, Y, E equals. You combine one of my favorites with the math. Oh, okay, I got this. I understand this. But then just life, just living life. I just realized like so many different things. Like even during the podcast, like everybody was like, "Oh, you should start a podcast. So got a voice for a podcast." I was like, "Oh, I have two podcasts." "You got podcasts?" I was like, "Yeah, I have a video podcast called The Nurturing Conversations, and I have an audio podcast, which is called Melanated Musicology." And when I did my first podcast was Melanated Musicology, and it was like, "You can't do it for 60 seconds because you need it to be like for hours." I was like, "Hey, that's why I have a video podcast. It's for hours, and my Melanated Musicology podcast, which is for music artists, is only like 60 seconds." Sometimes it's a minute, but sometimes it's 60 seconds. Because I know that as a music creative, you can put that on and it can repeat. You can play it multiple times. See what I'm saying? See where I'm getting at? I really tailored my life to it. My mom said, "Don't study it." I was like, "Oh, okay." And I ended up graduating with a bachelor's degree in music administration, not knowing what the world I was going to do with it. But now, what am I? I'm the greatest music administrator this side of heaven. You never know. Never know. But I just wanted to come and tell y'all to embrace the journey. Everybody wants to be rich, but nobody wants to endure the things that's going to get them rich. People want to win the lottery, but you don't even understand. Like, you can't even maintain your everyday bills, but you're gonna win the lottery, and then all of these people are gonna come. Your cousins gonna come out the woodworks. Your ex boo, your new boo, everybody gonna come out the woodworks, and then they gonna be trying to say, "Remember that $5 I borrowed you back in 1995?" Or they everybody gonna want you to pay for this. You gonna buy your mama a house, your daddy a house, your cousins, nieces, nephews. You're gonna make sure all of these different things when it's like you work hard to get there. You work hard to get there. I get it. Listen, I be saying I'm wealthy, and I already said once I get that first, I done had a muscle. I done had a lot of big checks. Let me figure this out. How I'm gonna say this. Once I get that check of all checks, once I get that deposit of all deposits, the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm taking my entire family on a cruise. Everybody. We're all going. I'm going to get a big suite and we're going to all go on a cruise. And I'm doing that because I want to say thank you. So that means I'm gonna make sure they have their passports, because I'm about to upload my Christmas, gift listings. I think everybody should have a passport, especially given where we're going in 2025. Everybody should have a passport. Everybody should have a passport. But yeah, that's what I want to do. I want to make sure that we have y'all seen like these family homesteads? I want to do that. I want to do a family homestead. I think it would be so dope. Have my mom house in the middle, and our houses around her house, and we'd be good. I think that's what I want to do. And then I want to have enough land where I could put tiny homes. So anybody else that want to come and live in the community, hey, we could do that. We're gonna have a farm, all of that. I want to do all of that. So in 2025, if y'all see me doing a YouTube video, talk about I'm on a farm, I'm serious about this life. I'm serious about living on a homestead, farming, having my own food. I'm so serious about that. I'm gonna show y'all what I'm working on. I'm so serious about that, especially because where are you about to go in 2025? New president, new ideas, all kinds of that. We need to be ready as we go into 2025. I hope y'all picking up we need to be ready, because we don't know what's gonna happen. You see that I don't know if y'all paid attention, but they about to I don't know if they 36 days. Is it 36 days or 36 hours? I don't know. Where Congress is about to shut down. Um And that means that people that have federal jobs is gonna be without money for. Listen, gotta get you. That's why I'm sitting here these next 10 days. I'm uploading tutorials and guidelines and all kinds of stuff. I could set that stuff and forget it. Capture people emails. I could do all of that. When when that man said he can't lower grocery store prices, I said, "Oh hell." Well, hell. But this is why I say you should make sure that you got some food storage. Get you some food storage. Get you a garden. I went and got my fisher's license, learned how to fish and everything. When I tell you I'm serious about it. I'm serious about it. I basically just want to come today and say, listen, embrace the journey. It might seem like it's taking you on a long, dark path, but embrace it. Embrace what's happening there. I remember when I was in a dark room and I thought the room was dark. Let me say, I thought the room was dark. Like you're in a room, you open your eyes and it's like completely black, but you still see those flickers of lights. I remember being in a room and I thought it was completely dark, but I saw that flicker of light and I knew that it was a way out. I knew it was a way out. And I found that flicker of light and I walked towards the light and I got out of those situations. And I'm here to tell you, like I said in my disclaimer, I'm here for two reasons. One, to let you know that you are not alone in whatever you have been through. Somebody has been through that same thing. That's why I say I wish more people talked about it. I wish more women who have had to have a hysterectomy talk about it, especially women of color, talk about it. because there are so many different complications and things that happen after that, things that I haven't even got through yet or still battling through yet or press at this present time where it's just like if I would have known, you know, I would have known. I'm not gonna say I would have had a different decision. You ever see the meme where it has a blue door and it has a red door, and I think the red door has $10 million and the blue door says go back and change things. And someone was like, "So what would you pick?" I said I would pick the red door. And they was like, "You wouldn't go back?" And I said, "No, I wouldn't go back because all of the experience I had in my life made me who I am, made me a woman of integrity, made me loving, made me understanding, kind, empathetic. It made me those things. So I can get this $10 million and I won't blow the $10 million. I will reinvest it. I will make sure that my family is taken care of and we don't have to worry about anything. I could do that. Whereas if I go backwards, I can't tell you who I will be if I go back and change some things. I don't know. I don't know. I'm about to wrap it up though. Okay, I'm about to. Oh, I'm about to go with you. No, I'm about to go with you. I'm about to go to the story, y'all. But that's all I got. Embrace the journey, and and remember, I want you to embrace the journey, but I also want you to remember that it is important for you to use your words. If you have a feeling, use your words. If you don't like the way someone is talking to you, if you don't like the way someone is treating you, use your words. Use them. That is the only way that anyone will ever know what you are feeling or what you are thinking. I will never let a live video, vlog, short podcast, anything that I present to you go out without me telling you to love. Mm. Love yourself. This includes your faults, your fears, your failures. Know yourself. You know who you are before you get on social media, before you go outside those doors. When you open your eyes, you know who you are. Be that version of you. We need that version of you. Trust yourself. This includes the hairs that stand up on the back of your neck, the feeling you get in the pit of your stomach, that loud or that small voice, the goosebumps. Bumps. Trust yourself because you will not lead yourself wrong. And most importantly, whoa, be yourself. Why? Because you need you. I need you. This great big old world needs you to be authentically you. We only want you. Having said that, anybody that cannot love, respect, or appreciate you for being authentically you, they do not deserve to be in your space. It is time for you to learn, set, and understand boundaries, stand 10 toes down on them, and live. If you haven't been paying attention to the news, you most definitely should because there are so many things going on that you should be in a know about. You should definitely get you some non-perishable food items, water, disinfectants, have some cash money, coins, or anything that you deem valuable to the side because again, we do not know what is going to happen, but you should be prepared. If 2020 and this global pandemic has taught us anything, it's to be prepared or to have a plan. That's all I got. If you or someone you love is engaged in adult activities, I ask that you wrap it up and then encourage them to wrap it up because despite being in a global pandemic for the last 4 years, the STD rates are rising and they are rising fast in the youth. That's all I got. I appreciate and love all of the love and support that you guys have shown me. I hope that you embrace the journey. And I hope that these last 10 days of this year, you focus on you. Focus on you. That's all I got. Until next time, I love you. Peace.